You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
How Trump's love of murder has made the U.S. government worse than the Mafia, based on an article by Thomas Kekut. State violence with a press office. The center holds the power. The source text is about Donald Trump, but the real machinery is broader. The White House, the military command structure, and the state institutions carrying out orders. When missiles hit a girls' school, when boats are blown apart in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, the decisive actors are not anonymous chaos agents. They are the people with command authority, targeting authority, and the power to classify victims as disposable. That distinction matters. This is not violence happening around the state. It is violence made legible by the state and defended after the fact by the state. The decision is the crime. The article points to specific acts: a strike that killed children and teachers in Iran, the killing of relatives of an Iranian leader, and roughly 196 extrajudicial killings at sea that the administration labels drug interdictions without producing evidence. That is not confusion. That is a chain of decisions, each one requiring human beings in uniform and civilians in office to say yes. The most revealing detail is the one the source repeats from Amnesty International: survivors were released and not prosecuted. If the administration had proof, it would use it. The absence of prosecution reads less like restraint than like an admission that the evidence is weak, and the spectacle is the point. Blame is being managed downward. This kind of coverage can still misdirect responsibility if it treats atrocity as the byproduct of feckless commanders or a blood-soaked atmosphere around Trump. Commanders matter, but they do not float free of presidential power. They operate inside a chain of command built to convert political will into dead bodies. The deeper problem is not managerial incompetence. It is an executive branch willing to make civilian killing routine and then wash it in security language. Narco-terrorists is not analysis. It is a permission slip. Once the label is applied without evidence, the victim is no longer a person, but a target class. The mob comparison is too polite. Calling this gangster behavior is not wrong, but it risks flattering the state by pretending the problem is merely criminal style. The source's comparison is more useful when stripped of its metaphor. The administration behaves like an armed hierarchy that punishes weakness, rewards submission, and treats force as proof. The key difference is scale and authority. A mob cannot claim sovereign legitimacy, deploy missiles, or use the language of national defense to sanitize mass killing. The state can, and that is what makes the cruelty more dangerous than ordinary criminality. It comes with budgets, uniforms, legal cover, and a national flag. What the story really shows: the pattern here is authoritarian normalization through bureaucracy. Killings become operations. Civilian deaths become collateral. Children become regrettable noise in a briefing room. Evidence becomes optional if the target is poor, foreign, or already smeared as criminal. That is the actual political lesson. Trump is not an anomaly who contaminated a healthy system. He is a stress test that exposed how readily U.S. institutions will metabolize mass violence into policy language when the targets are weak enough and the political cost is low enough. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to AlterNet for today's article. With the automated voice of Marcus, thanks for listening.